This time on the Farm to Table Direct Show, we delve into the fascinating and vital world of traditional herbal knowledge and safe practices in herbal medicine. How can ancient wisdom passed down through generations of traditions guide us in a time of misinformation and unsafe practices? Join us as we sit down with Dwayne Hall, an expert whose unique heritage and expertise illuminate the path to safe and effective herbalism.
Dwayne is a national speaker on all things homesteading, from wild crafting to animal husbandry. He has studied microbiology and has a degree in agriculture. Dwayne is a Cherokee citizen, and as a child, he spent much of his time on the Navajo Indian reservations, making him an expert on all native and traditional medicines. Dwayne can also teach on so many other topics, from meat goats to herbalism to emergency preparedness, rainwater collection, and so much more. Dwayne, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me. It's an honor.
I'm sorry. Here we go.
Right there.
Right here.
Yep. That was it right there. Yeah. Oh, you had it over. Yeah. You already had it.
Yeah. Anything for an extremely fatty liver.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to say I am not a licensed physician. I do diagnose, no do I prescribe. Okay. So those of you that came in late. Okay. One of the first things is we got to go back and look at what's the cause of that fatty liver. Okay. First off, there may be a lifestyle change. Okay. Diet, stress level, different things like that. But the next thing is let's look for herbs to work with that. Dandelion is good for the liver. We've known that. But if I was in that situation and I was going to be taking something, the number one herb I'm going to take for a liver is going to be milk thistle.
Milk thistle. Okay.
That's what we say is the only known herb that will cleanse and rebuild the liver. Okay.
Better write that down.
All right, that's a good one to know.
Well, and if you don't mind, let me talk right here about that one right quick. We live in such a toxic environment today,
right? And
your liver is a major cleanser of your body,
right?
Okay, and everybody ever so often should go through and help cleanse. Be kind to your liver, okay? Right. Because your liver's keeping you alive, people. It's getting rid of the crap that you live in and that you eat and everything else. So be kind to that liver, okay? And there's some detox programs. I use a product called Zeolite, Zeolite. And in combination with that, we use burdock. That helps clean the blood. And then we go with milk thistle for the liver. That's a 3-step approach to doing some cellular detoxing.
Okay. So I want to try to move along because like I said, we have 2 or 3 other questions to get to. And Mickey again was asking a question: do you think it's beneficial to handpick all of your own herbs rather than to buy them in a market? And I would add, if so, why? What's the compare and contrast?
Well, if I'll wildcraft some of the herbs that we use. Okay. Mm-hmm. If there's not a lot of that plant that year, I won't pick it. I'll leave it. Right. They go, well, you need some of that. No, I'm not going to take that. Because what I did, if I took that plant, is I'm hurting the future. Right. I've got to think down the road. So if I don't see a lot of that plant this year, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to look for other sources. You can grow your own. But you've got to learn the environment that plant likes, okay? The other thing that you can do is you can buy them from reputable herbal exchanges. I don't get a kickback or anything, but one of the companies that I really like dealing with, I've dealt with for years on plants that we don't have around where I live, or there's not enough there for me to harvest. It's a company called Mountain Rose Herbs, okay? They vet everyone that they buy from. They know their practices. It's mainly, most all of it's organic. They're very good. They'll tell you who wildcrafts, and they really know their wildcrafters that do go out. Okay. So if you can, If you can pick your own herbs and go through and do those, I would suggest doing that, because what that does is that everything in this world has a frequency or an energy to it.
Right.
And when you interact with that plant, that interacts with your health. That's one more stage in your healing process that you got that you might not have gotten otherwise. Now, not everyone can do that. And if they can't, that's okay. But if you have the knowledge to be able to do that, and you have the ability to be able to do that, I would suggest that.
Good. That's good advice.
All right.
Next.
Move on over to Scott. Scott said, what is a good list of plants that you would suggest to study first? Best for health.
Oh my gosh.
There's so many to choose from. But.
You know that when I wrote my book, I'm going, what plants do I keep? What I put in this book? Okay. And I kept wanting to put more plants and more. And I go, Dwayne, you got to cut this thing off. And I ended up putting 96 plants. Those are the most commonly used. Okay.
Wow.
But I want folks to understand that herbalism is not just plants that you have to go out into the wild and get. Okay. That the vast majority of herbalism is in your garden. Okay. For example, I brought some
Purple, red onion. Yeah.
an onion.
Onion.
It's one of the best things in the world to detoxify. I eat onion every day. Okay. Even during one of the plagues, I can't remember which one it was, but a lot of the people that survived because they took a slice of onion, put it on a saucer around in the room, and that onion would absorb the bacteria and everything else. Now, I had to throw the onion away, but that kept those folks from dying. But you use this to detox. Another one, garlic.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you're growing a garden, thyme, rosemary. I mean, I can go on and on of what you can grow in your garden that are all medicinal herbs. Okay. I make a product. Everybody goes, oh, did you come up with this? I tweaked the formula, but my gosh, the formula's been around for eons. It's called fire cider. Okay.
Fire cider. Okay.
Yeah, it's an old kitchen recipe because people knew that food is our medicine.
Right.
And they knew that certain foods did certain things to help people get well. And I brought some so I could talk about it a little bit here. If you could look at that.
Ooh, no, it's backwards.
It's going to be back. Okay, I'll read it to you.
All right.
This is the ingredients. Apple cider vinegar, honey. We know the healing properties of honey. I use elderberry instead of turmeric. Ginger root, horseradish root, onion, garlic, cayenne, jalapeno, lemon, orange, rosemary.
Wow.
And this stuff's good for just about whatever ails you, especially in the cold and flu season.
Okay, can you hold that up one more time for the audience? And Mr. P, can you pull his screen up?
Yeah, pull him up big.
Pull him up big.
There we go.
There we go.
It's backwards, but it's fire cider.
Right.
And right there from Red Feather Farms. So, yep.
Yeah.
And,
okay, thank you, Dwayne.
Yep.
And the guys, the thing about it, you can make this yourself. It's easy to make. Okay. My formula that I use is an adaptation of a lady named Rosemary Gladstar. She is like my herbalist hero. Okay, her and Barbara O'Neill. Bless Barbara's heart, she's passed on now. Okay, but Rosemary Gladstar, fire cider's been around. People put different things in fire cider, make it different ways, that whatever they may want to add to it, as long as it's good for your health. But you can make this at home. Right. Now, to do it right, it takes 28 days to be able to make it. Then you can pour it off, so it's not, I'll make it today and take it this afternoon. But, that's pre-planning. That's why we're talking about boosting your kids' immunity right now. It's things just like this we should be starting before they go to school.
Right. So, Wayne, I just want to back up just a little bit and kind of drill down on what Scott was asking there about a list of plants that suggest the study first. And what thought that I had in my mind is that would it be that, for example, a lot of people are either insulin resistant or they are having problems with insulin? Would they start with a particular ailment, if that's really what they're trying to treat, and then look specifically for something to deal with those ailments, or is there a different approach?
That's where I would start. If there's something that you need to work on personally, find what those herbs are and work with those. Just it's insulin resistant, let's say. One of the plants that a lot of people use for that is a plant called sunchoke. Okay. Now understand, if you start to grow that, everything, it's invasive. It takes over. Okay. But you may need quite a bit of it. Okay. So that's a plant there. People with allergies, it doesn't grow very well where I'm at, but I really like nettles, stinging nettles. Okay. I could go on, it kind of depends on where you're at and what your situation is as to what would be the herbs that I would consider. The first thing, is if you're not growing things like onions and garlic and, rosemary and thyme, start learning those things. Start with that garden first, if you got a garden.
Right. So keeping on that topic just a little bit. So what if you're not really suffering from any particular ailment, but you just want to have like a kind of this daily or an ongoing like set of things that you would just do all the time for general overall well-being?
I have like 1,000 plant elderberry orchard.
Right.
And because, I harvested elderberries today. I harvested some from behind the house back there, a little patch that I've got there. I grew up with them. Okay. I grew up eating them. Now, they're beautiful in color, but they don't taste that good. Okay. But my granddad always had me eat some. Okay. Because they're really good at boosting the immune system, helping the cardiovascular, a lot of different things. And then in the English folklore, the plant is not called elderberry. The plant's actually called elder, as in someone that's older. Okay. And they were all in all the English gardens. In a corner of that English garden was always some elder plants, because they viewed it and they gave it the name elder because it looked after the family.
I see.
The fruit from that looked after the family. And that's a big thing. And elders, they're easy to grow. That would be something I would do. Look at just some of these plants that's easy to grow. And start some of them. And go with those. My goodness, if you've got a pasture of any size whatsoever out there, you probably got yarrow in it.
Right.
Just identify that. Yarrow is really good for a lot of things. But I would probably start on what's needed, boosting their immunity of the family, cuts, scrapes, things like that. Yarrow is good for those things. Plantain, it's all in a yard. Chickweed, it's every spring. Cleavers is every spring. Those all are good for stuff. Mullein, you'll find mullein, in old rocky soil. Matter of fact, I'm fixing to go here in the next few days, and it's the right time for me to harvest quite a bit of mullein. And I have a patch that I'll go harvest from. And I only mullein is a biannual plant. It's a 2-year plant. I will only harvest the 2nd year mullein.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to address Chris here just a minute. It's Chris Thompson. Okay. And of course, she's asking, about the recommendations in book to help us learn. And what I want to say is, Chris, if you'll give us a little bit of time, we're about to circle around to that topic. But I want to highlight one here by an F. He was talking about herbs you recommend to relieve palpitations or hot flashes for menopause. Now, again, I know part of the answer to this, and that is that he does not prescribe or diagnose people. And but I guess the way to ask that is that if you were suffering from this, or someone in your family was, what would you tell them?
Well, the first thing I'd want to do is I would want to find out, are the palpitations, and I assume we're talking heart palpitations, okay? Are they a symptom of the hot flashes, or are they a symptom of another health issue?
Right.
Okay. The hot flashes are menopause at this point. Hot flashes is a symptom of menopause. That can bring on other issues, or can bring other issues to the forefront. Okay. So I'm not going to address the palpitation. That would be something that would need to be addressed in a more personal setting. Okay. But overall, as the hot flashes, depends on one of the things. I was in Oklahoma City this weekend. I spoke this weekend and had a booth there, had people come and talk. I mean, I talked for 2 days straight, just about. And hot flashes was one of the big topics that come around menopause. Our herb that we use, there's several different herbs we use. Squall vine for one, but probably one of the main ones is going to be black cohosh. But
Can you say that carefully again? Black
cohosh.
Cohosh. Okay.
Cohosh. Yeah, there's a black cohosh and a blue cohosh, and they do totally separate things. Okay,
Right.
Both are cohoshes, but they do totally separate things. But that's used a lot in there. But there's even more things to do. You've got to check for any type of pharmaceutical contraindications. Is it going to mess with anything out there? Okay. Well, just for example, let me just pull it up here. So you've got a possible side effect of nausea, vomiting, symptoms of low blood pressure such as dizziness when taken in large doses, and black cohosh can cause miscarriage. Okay. Don't take black cohosh if you're taking drugs that lower your blood pressure.
Okay.
Okay. So there's things you got to know, that there's contraindications. At that point, we may need to look at another herb. Okay.
Right.
So we always
does
have to
that-
work with those.
Does that highlight the importance of yes, we shouldn't abdicate our own responsibility for our own health, but there are times that sometimes we need to reach out to someone to help us to understand what we're dealing with. And it's more of a one-on-one personal situation by situation basis that would have to be talked over by you and somebody else who knows what they're dealing with.
Yeah, so someone that's been extensively trained. You want to talk with them. You want to feel them out. Do you trust them? Do you feel that they have your best interest at heart? Or are they just trying to sell you something?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I think that goes back in anything, is that, and even what you said before about praying about it, but knowing, having that confidence in them and that trust that that is earned. Bro, would you back up? There's a question there that's kind of triggering up to Duncan family.
Duncan, yeah. I was about to come back up to that.
It's, we talked about milk thistle with the fatty liver. Ask how much it would help with cirrhosis of the liver.
It helps cleanse and rebuild the liver.
Okay.
Right.
And it will help. I'm not going to say it's going to heal everything and make it back when you were 18 years old. I'm not going to say that. But you know what? Any improvement's better than what it is today.
That's right.
Okay?
Right. And if you don't mind that I'll share a little bit of a personal story. And our mom was diagnosed with fatty liver, and it was non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, cirrhosis.
Right.
And she was in a fairly late stage whenever they caught it. So I think that's really key to what you can expect with using any type of medication. But I really want to double down on what Dwayne said, is that doing something for it, first of all, treat your liver treat it well.
Right.
All right, because it's taking care of you, first of all. Second of all, stop intaking things that can harm it and start inputting things that can help it. And I know that after that late state diagnosis, my mom lived, I believe it was another 10 years or
At
so.
least, yeah.
Yeah, because she took steps. Okay, and so I don't know the particulars, Duncan Family Farms, about cirrhosis and what stage you're talking about, but just I want to just double down on what Dwayne was saying there about taking care of it at whatever stage you're in. You're going to do something that helps you to have a little bit better health or potentially prolong your life if it's not just absolutely right at the end.
And there's something about prolonging life and also and quality of life.
Right. Absolutely.
We don't want to prolong agony.
No.
Despair. We want to have the life that we have here. We want it to be quality. So there's a lot of things that go into this. One of the things people don't do is we don't listen to our body, and men are the world's worst.
Yes,
you hear tons of ladies talking about taking herbal this and herbal that, and I don't feel good here, there. You don't hear men say that. Men, we're what are we taught to do? We're taught to suck it up and go on.
Right.
But what usually happens when we suck it up and go on is after a while it gets to the point that there's nearly a point of no return. Right. There's a point that nothing's going to fix it. So we need to listen to our body and recognize those things while they're still fixable.
Right. Okay, with that, Dwayne, we need to kind of be moving on through.
Right.
No, just wanted to once again say thank you to Dwayne for being so gracious to share his knowledge with us.
And his time, definitely.
Not we don't only just learn, but I feel like in this community, really want to shout out to everybody that's been participating in the growth of this community, and how building this community is really important. And we actually believe that we're stronger together, and we actually believe that we are the solution to a lot of the problems that we see going on locally in our state, in the United States, and as a matter of fact, in the entire world. Right. And the homesteading community exhibits everything, I believe, that is the solution to those problems. And Dwayne, you are an exceptional illustrator of that very fact. And once again, like I said, we just want to thank you for showing up and sharing your information and the knowledge that you've got, because that's what's going to do it. That's what's going to pull this community together, and it's going to bring things a little bit back home. And as as one of the things that we say is take another link out of the chain, that food supply chain, shorten it up a little, get to know your local farmers, and get some local information, because there's a wealth of knowledge and a lot of it that we almost lost. Okay. We've become dangerously close to losing it. Yeah. And though the things that's happened to us in the past, especially over the past since 2020, it, as bad as it was, it's got some silver linings in that cloud, and that silver lining is people have woken up a little bit. They're waking up, and they're realizing that we've got to source our food a little differently for our own health and also for our own security.
So, if you don't mind, I'd like to. My last words here. I'd like to put a challenge out there for folks.
Okay.
I believe that for things to change, people have to change. Right. So be the change you want to see.
Absolutely.
That's it.
100% right there.
Yeah.
It is it is absolutely that. I mean, that's honestly that part of what we got us even started, was seeing what we've seen and not being able to keep our mouth shut about it.
Right.
And stumbling into and I say stumbling because that's literally what it was, stumbling into the homestead community.
Right. Yeah.
And finding people like yourself that are living the solution. And that's what it matters so much. And so, yes, be the change that you want to see. And that's it. Well, Dwayne, again, thank you. Thanks to everybody that was in the chat. This has made a great show. We haven't pulled one like this one in a while, actually, but it's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed it. Like I said, a lot of knowledge. We gave you the shows coming up next week. Amanda Hardcastle from Hardcastle or HLC Longhorns going to be talking about her cattle. That's next Tuesday, 7 o'clock, right here on Facebook and on YouTube. So go ahead and set your calendars now. Make your reminders for that. Next week, you'll be seeing us. And I tell you what, guys, great show. And I tell you, I'm just going to roll us right on out of here. So until next time, this is the Farm to Table Direct Show. Remember, we are #Stronger Together. It's only through the community. It's only through the strength of each other that we can overcome the things of this world. Be gracious to each other. Be kind. Be thankful for our Creator, God above. And as we always say, prepare for the unexpected and keep it local.
I'd like to thank you all for watching, and be sure to check out part 3, where we're going to talk about the cold and flu season and what to do naturally, parasites, and what herbs and plants are used to do a cleanse, and a lot of other info. So if you like our videos, please hit the like and subscribe button, ring the bell so you'll get notification, and please leave me a comment below. Let me know what herbs you use in your daily life and what you might like to see in future videos. As always, we thank you for sharing the time with us, and until next time, may the sun shine upon your face, the wind be to your back, and your footsteps be sure.